What's up, YouTube? Back at it again. Been a little bit. Probably been almost a month since I last posted something. I started a little side gig detailing cars and stuff, so it's kept me super busy. But I wanted to make sure, you know, for a lot of the new subscribers that I got, I probably got at least like, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 more in the past month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but to me it's a lot. I'm almost to 100 subscribers. Once again, it doesn't sound like a lot, but to me it's a lot. And it just kind of shows that some of you guys are interested in some of the stuff I'm doing. So I kind of want to make sure I'm, you know, feeding the subscribers. I know when I subscribe to a YouTube channel, if I don't see any activity in like in a month or something like that, I'm thinking, this guy's not keeping up, or this guy or girl's not keeping up. So, you know, I'm probably falling back in that algorithm. But like I said, I just kind of wanted to give you guys something. It's going to be kind of a quick video. I kind of wanted to do a whole install for this video, but I ended up watching a bunch of videos and it's pretty simple stuff. Basically what I'm getting at is I bought a new vehicle. What a surprise, right? The last thing I bought is a 2013 F-150 Raptor. Kind of treated myself to the business, kind of getting up and running and doing pretty good. So all stock, you know, most people are like, just leave it alone. And they're right. Most of the time I probably am, even though I've been looking at the Roush supercharger. But, you know, speaking of Roush, I purchased a Roush 3-inch single. I don't even want to say single. It's got dual tips at the end, but it's not like a dual exhaust or anything like that. But yeah, so I bought a exhaust system, a Roush exhaust system. It kind of fits multiple vehicles. It fits I think it fits the EcoBoost. It does fit the 5.0 and the Raptor. The only thing you got to do is you got to cut off a section of the resonator. And I'll post a couple videos, or at least one that I watched for sure, that showed like a pretty good tutorial about how to do it. I thought it was pretty good. I might have like glazed over it or rushed through some parts, because there's a section of the piping that I cut off, which is where you're going to be putting the resonator delete. And if you don't know what that is, I'll show you guys. I got all that stuff in the back of the bed after I installed, but it basically is a section that's just straight piped and it's pretty long. And then, you know, from what I watched in the video, you just got to make sure you just like cut. And I just cut the length of what the resonator was. But for some reason, I don't know where maybe I went wrong, or maybe, like I said, I rushed it. I gave myself a little bit extra room, and I still was about 6 to 8 inches of exhaust pipe from the actual exhaust itself to the rear end of the tail section. They had a huge gap. So kind of made a makeshift piece with my stepdad, and it looks pretty bad, but it holds up really well. But I figured a long time ago, I purchased one of these. It's like a tailpipe extender. Figured, hey, what the heck, you know, I was going to use it for the Challenger, but then I sold that and I sold the neighbor hater exhaust. So now we're back at it, and I kind of like, you know, history repeats itself. I can't keep myself from getting some newer vehicles, especially some high performance vehicles, especially something like a Raptor. I didn't ever think I was going to get one of those. Oh, I kind of did, but not as soon as I thought. So either way, what we're going to do today is I'm going to go underneath the vehicle, show you guys kind of like a quick tutorial about how to install it. Super easy. It basically takes like, it literally takes like 2 bolts is really all it is. The 2 bolts you disconnect from the headers itself. And then everything else is just like slipping off from the hangers and stuff, even though I still had to disconnect the hangers because it just was easier. And I actually had to lower the what do you call it, the spare tire, just to get the pipe like at the rear end of it. It kind of goes up and over the rear end. I kind of had to like finagle it, or whatever you want to call it, and to kind of like slipping it out. Once you take the you actually got to disconnect the resonator from the actual exhaust itself. Those 2 pieces just kind of slide out, even though it's kind of rusted, but either way. So it slid off, and then I kind of had to slide in a weird way over the rear end of the exhaust that goes over the rear end, I guess. If I keep saying rear end, my bad. And so I took all the hangers off, but they're like 2 bolts, and they go back in real quick and easy. So anyways, I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like, show you the god-awful piece that me and my stepdad kind of made work, even though it sounds awesome. I'll tell you what, that Roush exhaust is pretty badass. They say it's very loud. I probably could get louder. Like I said, the neighbor haters from Black Widow exhaust, I've always wanted those. I got them and then I sold them. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I didn't think I was gonna get a Raptor. But I'll be honest, with those, you'd have to cut and get them welded in, and I'm not the greatest welder, but I probably could have done it. But this one was just a bolt-on. I didn't want to go too crazy. It's a little expensive. The neighbor haters are like $100 a piece if you go to like Off-Road Expo, or like 100, maybe 20, 30 bucks each if you get them from the site. But anyways, I'm gonna stop babbling on. Let's just go underneath the truck. Well, let me show you the truck first, and we'll get underneath the truck, and then I'll show you some sections of stuff that we had to cut or take off and everything when you do the install. If you got a Raptor, if you got the 5.0, you don't have to worry about it, but it all slips on. But the resonator piece you got to cut off, I'll show you because it's specific for the Raptor. And then I'll show you the piece that we need to redo, and then we'll get into hopefully fixing that piece or making it look a little bit more professional. And then, you know, hopefully you guys enjoy the vid. So let's jump into it. All right, guys, here it is. This is the 2013 Raptor SVT. You see it in its all its glory, black on black. Pretty sweet truck. Got a hell of a lot of balls for a 6.2 liter, naturally aspirated. So anyways, let me show you some of the exhaust that we took off, and then we'll get underneath it. All right, so these are the pieces right here that we took off. This is that resonator I'm talking about right here. Kind of cool, actually. This works out really good right here. So this is the piece you get from Roush itself. I can't show you what the other piece looks like, but obviously you can use your imagination, see where the painter's tape is. This is what's gonna come off of in your vehicle. You gotta cut this section off on the resonator because this opening is way too big on the Raptor because it's a big beast of an engine. And then this is the exhaust piece where, if you look right here, this is where it slips on the back side over there, or front side, whatever you wanna call it, to the exhaust. And then this is the bend right here that goes over your rear end that I had to kind of finagle once I took this resonator off. I had to lower the rear tire or spare tire, and then it slipped right off and over and pretty good. And then these are just the exhaust tips right here. But anyways, that's kind of what it looks like. Pretty simple stuff. There's really literally only 2 bolts that you're going to remove. Everything else is just slip on with these kind of style clamps, I don't know what you call them. And yeah, then it goes back in. So, and then you can see that's the pipe back there that we're going to use to make the section that we needed to fix. And let me show you that right now. All right, so let's see if I can get a better video. Okay, so here's the exhaust part right here. See kind of how the hanger is, kind of pushed up pretty forward. You know, this is that section of the exhaust right there. It's actually pretty cool. It doesn't look like that until I actually heat it up, but that's the color of it right there. And then when it heats up, looks all purple now. It's pretty sweet. Anyways, so there's that piece you got to cut off your resonator. It's just 2 bolts right there. Got a clamp that slips on. You can see how it's kind of already like widened out a little bit. So it slips right over, comes over here, slips into this part of the exhaust. And then right here is the back end of it. And then this is, if you can see it, that's the makeshift piece that we had to make. So yeah, like I said, this is the rear end of the exhaust. It goes back into some hangers right here. And there's another set of hangers right there. And then there's even a piece for the exhaust tip, which I'll show you guys in a little bit here, that you got to add to it. That's not stock on here, but they added to the Roush exhaust piece, so, or the Roush exhaust system. But anyway, so this is the section that we're going to redo. So it's probably, shoot, I don't know, 9 or 10 inches, probably a little bit more because it goes in about 3 inches into the slip-on part. So maybe about 10 inches of pipe that needs to get redone. I'm probably going to go 12 inches total. I don't have much left on the original piece, but I don't got to do anything to this end. It just slipped right in. It's this part right here that I'm gonna use a tailpipe extender, cut some slits in there, kind of like how it is with the slip-on pieces. Kind of, if you kind of see a little bit, they kind of have already some slits cut in for the stock or the Roush system. So I'm gonna try to do something kind of a little professional because yeah, this just looks awful, dude. It works, but I don't know. I mean, if I got that tailpipe extender, why not? And then I got a YouTube channel, so yeah, why not? So yeah, that's what we're gonna get into today, and hopefully it works out. But let me show you that exhaust tip piece real quick too. So here's that back section too. So this is the piece you got to add right here. This comes in the system. It just helps hang the dual tip exhaust, all chromed out Roush piece. There's another little slip-on section right there. So I just kind of want to show you guys real quick what the total install, or what it looks like when it's totally installed. Super easy. Everything slips in together. Just that one resonator piece you got to cut, and then that long section you got to cut, which I don't know, even if you didn't cut it, it's going to push that exhaust end super farther out than it will be on the hanger. So I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it, but it didn't show that in the video I watched originally. But anyways, let's get into cutting that section and getting it all dialed in, and hopefully looking pretty good. right, so I don't know. This thing works. I mean, I never used it before, so it's pretty simple. You basically just like put a crescent wrench or maybe a socket on here. I don't know what size socket, but I use a crescent wrench and you just expand it out. Probably not a good idea to put it in the vice grip like this because I just like flatten that edge, but whatever. I only need like, I don't know, probably like that much. So either way, so I tried to expand it. I'm assuming it expanded, but I can't really tell. It was hard as hell to open up. So what I'm gonna do, I don't even think you can see it from here. I can feel it a little bit, but what I'm gonna do anyways is in the original pieces that came with exhaust, it has like little grooves cut out like I showed you earlier. So I'm just gonna cut some grooves. They're kind of crude, but just something to kind of be able to help maybe expand it a little bit. And then that way when I slip it over and I clamp it down, it'll cinch together in this part of the metal. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just kind of want to give you guys an update. I'm just gonna do one on one side, one on the other. That should be enough. And then we'll go from there. But I think if you can kind of look, maybe you can see it. It'll definitely expand more once I cut these grooves in. It'll probably help expand this metal out a little bit more. So I don't know. We're going to give it a try. So let's jump back into it. All right, so this is kind of my crude cuts, you know, just to kind of on each side here. Let's see if we can pan around here. Just to kind of, once you sent that clamp over it, it should just give it a little bit of extra, like little sandwich effect, I guess. I mean, that's how they have it on the Roush exhaust system, so I don't know, but it definitely will help expand it. I don't know if I should have done the expansion before I did that, but it didn't seem like it was doing very good. Plus, you probably seen it or not in the video, they give you extra one of these bands. They give you 2 extra ones, and I broke one already. So I don't know if it was because a little bit of the heat that I added, which probably I won't do now. Maybe that's what did it. I'm not sure. Plus, now I'm kind of worried that there's like some sharp edges, even though I kind of filed it in there, that might catch on those and rip them apart. Yeah, I still feel some in there. So I might go a little bit more on the file just to make sure it's nice and clean. But then I'm just going to expand it, and then we're going to shove it on there. And then we'll cut the length that we need. And then we should be a little bit better off than what we got on there. So either way, just want to give you guys an update. All right, let's jump back into it, guys. All right, guys, so this is where we're at. Yeah, that pipe expander thing, that thing sucked. This looks just as bad as the one we pulled off. Let me show you. I don't know if this thing is not meant for exhaust pipe. It says, literally it says right here, large tail pipe expander, I guess. I don't know, man. But look, this thing, I don't know if you can see inside there, it's cracked. So it broke. So that didn't do me no good. It didn't even expand it. It actually warped it. So I don't know. I was rattling my brain, thinking about what I could do. And this is what I came up with. So going back and looking at what I got left over here from the original exhaust, I'm literally going to cut this piece off right here because it's already got a widened end. So I can just slip it on the actual exhaust itself. And this is going to slip inside of the rear end section of the tailpipe or the exhaust. So this should actually work. So I don't know. This is my last resort because other than that, I don't know what else to do. So I'm gonna cut this off right now and then see if it slides right in. And if it does, then we're gonna crank it down with the clamps and we'll call it a day. So let's get into it. All right. Well, it took me till nightfall, but I did it. This is the exhaust right here. Sorry, it's kind of dark. I tried to get the best light I could. But right here is the piece that I cut off the old resonator. Yeah, fit perfect, man. Perfect solution. Already had expanded ends on it. Like I said, I tried to use the Harbor Freight one that broke. I tried to like make my own and it just split and looked ugly. So I just took the stock one, cut it off, already had expanded in, cut the piece I need, and then clamped it on. So yeah, maybe that's something for you guys if you're gonna do it yourself. You know, I knocked off this clamp to use on the other pieces of exhaust I had extra from the Roush system, but this has already kind of like got a seam weld in it. Like I don't know where it's like right here, you can see it. This is where it's seam weld. We knocked that off, or me and my stepdad did. But I just leave it on because this is the exact end where this seam weld would go. So I would just leave this on, cut that piece off you need to the length, and attach it in case you cut it too short like I did, or I'm not sure, because you can see kind of where the hanger is. It's kind of pushed up really far up in there. So I'm not sure if you're supposed to reuse it or not, but definitely looks a lot better. I mean, definitely gets to tell where there's not the stock Roush system put up in here, but you know, who's gonna really get underneath here? Plus, it just looks a lot better to me. Doesn't look all Jimmy rigged or nothing like that. So anyways, hope this video helped you guys. It sounds badass, so I definitely recommend this system. It's a little expensive, but it's not too bad, especially for bolt-on. I'd spend a little bit more money just for bolt-on because it's just that much easier. So, all right, guys. All right. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.